He stepped inside to claim what was his. But the house had been waiting for him. And it already knew his name.
Don't miss the next twist. Hit subscribe and turn on the bell for more interesting stories like this.
My name is David Mercer. I was 36 when I inherited a house no one remembered building, from a man no one remembered knowing. I got the letter on a Tuesday. Yellow envelope, wax seal, thick paper that smelled like cedar smoke and rain. It was postmarked from a town I'd never heard of, Kennet's Hollow, Vermont. No return address. Just a single sentence typed in the center. The house has chosen. It waits for your return. At first I thought it was some marketing gimmick. Maybe a gothic Airbnb stunt or a promotional thing for a horror podcast. But when I flipped it over, there was a legal deed attached. My name. My birth date. A parcel number filed in the Vermont Land Registry. And the name of the deceased. Ellison D. Mercer. That stopped me cold. Mercer was my mother's maiden name. Ellison, that name hadn't been spoken since I was a child. My grandfather died before I was born, supposedly. But there it was, bequeathed to next of blood, with a signature that matched the one on my mother's old photographs. I tried Googling Kennet's Hollow. Nothing. No town hall. No businesses. Not even a post on Reddit. But when I checked the deed's parcel number through Vermont's GIS system, it existed. Parcel 217B. In a forested basin west of Killington. Listed as private residential. Last activity, 1947. And the strangest part? My name had been added to the record 3 months ago. Before the letter ever arrived. I couldn't explain it. But I also couldn't stop thinking about it. I was between jobs. Laid off from a design firm in Albany after 10 years. My lease was month to month. I had no girlfriend, no pets, nothing but time and questions. So, like an idiot in a Netflix pilot, I packed up my car with 2 bags, a flashlight, and my dad's old hunting knife. And I drove to Kennet's Hollow. Except, it wasn't on the map. I followed coordinates from the GIS database. Long, winding back roads turned to gravel, then to dirt. No signage. Just dense pine forest and the occasional faded mailbox nailed to a tree like a warning. My GPS died 6 miles out. No signal. No bars. Just me and the sound of tires on wet leaves. And then, like it had always been waiting, the road ended. And the house stood there. 3 stories tall, white clapboard with green shutters. A stone chimney that cracked in the middle like a healed scar. The porch sagged on the left side. The windows were shut tight, but not boarded. The lawn was cut short. Maintained. There were no tire tracks but mine. And yet the gate swung open. The brass sign read, Mercer House, 1846. I killed the engine. Listened. Silence. Not even bird song. Just a slow creak as the wind nudged the porch swing back and forth. I should have turned around right then. But I didn't. Because as I stepped out of the car, I saw something impossible. A light flickered on in the attic window. Like it knew I was home. The key was under the doormat. Old brass, cold to the touch. The kind you only see in antique stores or horror movies that end badly. I stood there for 5 minutes, just staring at the door. Every instinct told me to leave. But when I slipped the key into the lock, it turned without resistance. The door swung open on its own. The air inside smelled like cedar and dust and something deeper, like time that had curdled. The foyer was immaculate. Polished floors, grandfather clock, stairwell with wrought iron rails that curved like bone. No cobwebs. No decay. Just stillness. Like the house had paused mid-breath, waiting for me to press play. My footsteps echoed more than they should have. To the right, a sitting room with velvet chairs and yellowed books. To the left, a dining table set for one. Fresh linen. A bowl of fruit. Apples. All red. I reached for one, and stopped. They weren't real. Wax. But someone had added teeth marks to one. Meticulously carved, as if to suggest it had been bitten. and left unfinished. I moved through the rooms slowly. Kitchen. Pantry. A hallway lined with framed photographs, except every one had the face scratched out. Not blurred. Not faded. Scratched. Deep gouges where eyes had been. Some recent. Some old. The deeper I went, the more I felt it. The weight of being watched. Not malevolent. Not yet. Just aware. I climbed the stairs. The second floor had 4 bedrooms. 3 were locked. The 4th wasn't. It was empty except for a twin bed and a small wooden desk. On the desk, a typewriter. 1 sheet of paper. Typed in perfect Courier font. "You slept here before." I backed away, heart in my throat. Then a creak. Behind me. I turned. The hallway had changed. Where there were 4 doors, now there were 5. And the 5th one was open. Beyond it, darkness. But not empty. A cold breeze whispered out. And under it, a sound. Not footsteps. Typing. Slow. Deliberate. Coming from a place no one should be. I left that floor. Nearly fell down the stairs. I needed air. Answers. A reason to believe I hadn't lost my mind. Back in the foyer, the front door loomed. I grabbed the handle and pulled. It didn't move. I twisted harder. Nothing. I braced both feet and yanked with all my weight. Still nothing. Then I looked up. The bolt had slid closed. From the inside. Without touching it. The house wasn't letting me out. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't even sit. I paced the hall like a prisoner, every floorboard groaning under me in a pattern I began to memorize: short creak, long creak, pause. The house wanted me to hear it. I tried the windows next. Nailed shut. But not from age. From the inside. Clean nails. Fresh wood dust on the sill. Someone had sealed them recently. The whole second floor was different in the morning. Not just the furniture, the layout. Room 4, which had been a child's bedroom, was now a sewing room. Room 2 was gone entirely. A wall had replaced it. No seams, no plaster lines. Like it had never existed. I stood there, staring at blank drywall where a door had been, and I said aloud, "You're changing." The wall replied. A soft tap. Once. Twice. Then silence. Downstairs, the kitchen smelled of coffee. Fresh. There was a cup waiting on the table. Steam rising. Beside it, a photograph. Me. Standing in the hallway. In this house. Wearing yesterday's clothes. Except it couldn't have been taken. Because I had never stood like that. Not at that angle. And not with someone standing behind me. Their face obscured. Their hand on my shoulder. My knees nearly buckled. I took the photo and shoved it into my bag. Then I ran. But the door wouldn't open. And worse, the road was gone. Where the dirt driveway had led through the trees, there was now nothing but forest. No tire marks. No gravel. No path. Only a wooden sign, freshly planted, where the road had been. It read, "You're remembering wrong." I stayed because I had no choice. But the house, it welcomed me now. Lights turned on as I entered rooms. Water filled the tub on its own. Meals appeared at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. sharp. I tried setting cameras, but their batteries always drained by morning. In the study I found journals. Dozens. All identical in format. Leather-bound. Blank. Until I wrote in them. Anything I wrote appeared as if typed the day before. Meaning, when I wrote, "I hate this place," on page 1, I'd open it the next day and see, "June 3rd, he hates this place," written in someone else's handwriting. And below it, "We're almost ready to begin." On the 4th night, I woke up to whispering. Not voices. Not quite. It was the sound of paper turning. Of typewriter keys clicking in slow, methodical rhythm. I followed the sound upstairs, barefoot, every board cold under my feet. The fifth room, the one that hadn't existed the first day, was wide open now. Inside, a mirror. But not a reflection. The man standing in it wore my face. But he didn't move when I did. His eyes were wrong, too wide, too still. And behind him, I saw shapes. Figures standing in a circle. Unmoving. Watching. He lifted one hand, palm open. On it, my name. David Mercer. Etched into the skin like a burn. Then he mouthed the word. Lie. The mirror shattered. No sound. Just spiderweb cracks, and then silence. When I looked again, the room was empty. The mirror was never there. Only a wall. Blank. Untouched. I stopped counting days. Outside, the weather never changed. Gray skies, still trees, no wind. The sun rose too quickly and set too early. Time was bending. Then the phone rang. A rotary phone on the first floor, which had never worked before. I picked it up. He left something in the well. The voice was mine. And then silence. There was a well behind the house. I'd never noticed it, hidden behind the old shed, covered by leaves. I uncovered the lid. Old wood, splintered at the edges. Under it, darkness. Water far below. Or maybe not water. Something else. I lowered a rope with a bucket. When I pulled it up, something was inside. A handwritten note. A single sentence. You promised not to come back. That night, every door in the house slammed shut at once. Lights flickered. The walls groaned. In the dining room, the table was set for two. At the head, a man. Wearing my clothes. My face. Eating nothing. When I stepped in, he looked up. And smiled. She remembers you. Who? I whispered. He pointed at the ceiling. At the attic. The attic door was open. I hadn't touched it. I climbed slowly. Each step groaned like it knew something I didn't. The attic was empty. Except for a single rocking chair in the middle. And something beneath it, a bundle of cloth. I knelt. It was a dress. Child-sized. Yellow with sunflowers. Faded but clean. Under it, a photo. A girl. 6, maybe 7. Pale. Wide-eyed. Written on the back. Meredith Mercer, born 1940. Died 1947. Below that. He brought her back. I sat down, trying to breathe. Then I heard it again, typing. But this time, it wasn't below. It was inside the walls. Dozens of typewriters. All at once. And then silence. Followed by footsteps. Tiny. Running. Behind me. I turned. No one. But the dress was gone. The photo burned itself in my hand. I ran to the journals. Opened the one marked D. Inside, the first page now said, David Mercer. Attempt 4. Partial recall. Memory erosion beginning again. Below that. This time, he stayed longer. We may be close. I demanded answers. Screamed at the walls. What am I? What is this place? The lights went out. One by one. Until only the hallway remained lit. Room 5 was open. Inside, a mirror. The same man. My face. He spoke. Not aloud. Inside my head. You were never born. You were written. You are the house remembering itself. I broke. I ran to the front door. It opened this time. Outside, morning light. Birds. A breeze. I ran to my car. It was gone. But a woman stood at the edge of the trees. Older. Pale. Eyes like mine. She held out her hand. I'm Meredith, she said. I was the first. And behind her, the forest bent. Like something enormous had exhaled. The house watched me. And waited. I stepped forward. And remembered. Everything.